Hola MasGamers, aquí estamos con Patrick Mills.
My name is Patrick Mills. I'm a quest designer at CD PROJEKT RED, and I'm working on Cyberpunk 2077.
Alright, so this is your first game after The Witcher 3. A game we have known for a long time because thanks to some teasers, but this is the first time earlier we saw gameplay thanks to an appointment. I wanted to know how come you decided to change this idea from a book about this magical warrior and go into the future with robots and this Blade Runner vibe.
Well, many of us at CD Projekt are big fans of the original Cyberpunk 2020. It was a pen and paper system developed by Mike Pondsmith, and we are big fans. We really wanted to try to branch out and do something a little bit different, and this was something that really appealed to us, so we went and did it.
Okay, well, that's the first question. Second one, you also made a change not only on the theme but also in gameplay. I mean, the Gerald's adventure was always third person, was this rolling magic RPG. Now you go into first person and with shooting mechanics, a lot of shooting mechanics, and even driving. Was that very hard for you?
Yes, I mean, yes and no. It's been an interesting transition. I wouldn't say necessarily it's been difficult, though there have been difficult things about it. But generally, it's been something that we've really enjoyed switching over and doing it. The thing is that it gives us something new, right? With Witcher 3, it was always Geralt's story, and you were guiding Geralt through the story. But with this, we really wanted you to feel like you were being inside this character. We want you to define this character of this cyber mercenary. And first person lets us do that. Additionally, there was another thing as well, which was that, Witcher 3 was this big, flat land, you rode around on a horse and you did all of this. In this one, there's a lot of verticality to it, and in third person, it just doesn't work as well. If you go into Witcher, or any third person game, and you look straight up, it usually doesn't work quite right. It doesn't feel very good. But in this, in a first person, if you look up and you see those skyscrapers towering above you and they're making you feel small, it's very cool. And that's really the feeling that we wanted to get.
Okay, also, right now you have this tool when it comes to the cybernetic enhancements that change the abilities that V has. I was impressed with the one little detail that everything V plays into herself or himself, it's visible. I mean, the hand change, everything, one of those enhancements will be
not
visible.
all of them, but many of them will. Some of your enhancements will be concealed beneath things, like, for example, the mantis blades. They only pop out when you're using them. Some other things, like the Kiroshi eye implant, because it is, of course, first person, you're not going to see the surface of your own eye. But many of our cybernetic enhancements will have cosmetic effects on the character, and we want it so that at the end of the game, both with cybernetics and the other cosmetic options that you have to change your appearance with tattoos and clothes, combined with the fact that you have so many choices to make across the game, every person's character at the end of the game is different than their friends' characters. So everyone has a different character at the end.
And can you unlock all the skills for your player, or do you have to choose a certain specialty?
So we have 3 specialties. We have the solo, which is based on combat, and the techie, which is based on machinery and fixing things. The netrunner, which you saw a little bit of that in the demo, which is using networks and computers and things. You can switch between those at will. We don't constrain you to one or the other. We let you pick and choose between those because we want you to really build your own style.
Okay, but you have to use only one at a time.
No, you can you can mix and match as much as you want. Okay. Each one, it's too early to talk about too many details about how exactly it'll work, but you'll have skills of each category, and you can pick and choose, and you can build your character any way you want with those.
Okay, and when there's the side quests, which were one of the favorite features for many people. What can you tell us about the side quests for Cyberpunk? Are they equally complex, or?
Oh, they're even more complex. we feel like our concentration on not just main story, but also all the side content is one of the strengths of the studio, and one of the reasons why people responded to Witcher 3 the way that they did. So we don't want to lose any of that. And now with the character being able to do so many different things and have so many different options, our side quests have gotten even more complicated and complex. So, you know, we're still planning on delivering you great characters and interesting stories, but in addition to that, you're going to be able to move through those quests in different ways than you would have been able to with Witcher 3.
The Witcher was a trilogy of 3 games in which your choices alter the story from chapter to chapter. Are you thinking about Cyberpunk as a trilogy too, or just one big chapter?
Oh, that is way too early to talk about. That would be it would be great, but it's way too early to talk about anything like that.
But if the game is successful, would you consider a sequel?
You'd have to talk to a business guy. I'm a quest designer. I can't answer that.
All right, so
I would love to work on it. Let me put it that way. I would love to work on it.
Well, talking about the story, but this time, how many different endings can we expect for Cyberpunk 2077?
It's too early to say. We're not at the development stage where we can talk about exactly how many endings we will have. But if you look at Witcher 3, we'll probably be doing something similar to that.
And when it comes to quests, how many different ways can we approach each side quest or maybe story main quest?
It depends on the quest. Some of them have more ways to approach than others. There will be a wide variety of ways. I couldn't number it for you, but I think what you saw in the demo is indicative of what we want to try to have. So a lot of different options. You know, in the demo you can go and you can talk to the corpo lady, you can take her money, you can run away with it if you want, you can go and try to negotiate with the gang, or you can simply try to steal the thing from them. There should be a lot of options in our quests because we have a lot of options for the character.
Since all those options branch into different story paths, how many pages would you say the script for Cyberpunk has?
That's a very good question, and it would be a lot. It would be a lot. I couldn't give you a number, but it's I couldn't even estimate, but a lot of pages. At this point in development, the thing is that it's all still work in progress, so it gets bigger every day. So,
how long do you expect the regular player to take from beginning to the end of the game?
We're not sure yet. We're not at the stage where we can say, but it should be pretty long, very long. And if you look at Witcher 3, somewhere in that range.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of.
It is a lot. It's a lot. It's a big game.
All right. So I don't know how much time we have left, but
we've got time. We've got time.
We've got time. Okay, yeah. We've got time. So okay. In The Witcher 3, one of the most important characteristics of the characters were their relationships. You could choose different mates, and you actually go and you can do a lot of things with your partners. Will you have the same freedom here in Cyberpunk?
You'll have even more. With Geralt, you had a character who had a predefined sexuality. He had books and short stories and previous games. We all knew Geralt was a straight man. In this game, you can play as a man, you can play as a woman, and the NPCs have their own preferences as well, because we want them to feel like real people. So we have a wide variety of sexual encounters in the game, even beyond just who you're picking, but some of the relationships that you'll have are big, important, emotional situations with, long-term relationships. Others are one-night stands that don't really matter in the long-term but it's a way to spend your time.
When it comes to games, which one you mentioned Cyberpunk 2020 as your main inspiration for the theme, but when it comes to games, which games would you say are your main inspiration for this change of approach from Witcher to Cyberpunk 2077?
Well, we've looked at a lot of different titles and played a lot of different things. It's a pretty big studio with a large staff. Played a lot of things. In terms of specifically what games, I wouldn't really be able to say, other than to say probably if you've played it, there's a little piece of it in here. Generally, we also try not to restrict our inspiration just to video games or even movies or TV. We will find inspiration anywhere. I have a Quest, and I probably shouldn't mention mention this, but I have a quest that's inspired by the title to an album, right? It's just a title to an album that's been batting around in my head, and I said, let's think about that. Let's see how that goes.
Well, just in case, what would you say to people that have never played The Witcher, not even 1, 2, or 3, and are impressed with this? I am impressed with this, so I'm guessing many are. To go play, try Cyberpunk.
If you like RPGs, you like interesting stories, you like interesting characters, and choice and consequence, where you make a decision and then find out how it plays out, then you should give our game a try. Frankly, you should give Witcher 3 a try as well, but Cyberpunk will also be up your alley.
When The Witcher 3 came out, it was you gave it a lot of support. There was a lot of free DLC, for example. Will Cyberpunk receive a similar treatment?
I couldn't talk about anything specific, but our philosophy was demonstrated with Witcher 3, and that hasn't changed.
Right. And what can you tell to the fans in Latin America of Cyberpunk, of CD PROJEKT? Do you have any special messages to them?
Good things come to those who wait, and we're hoping to show you more stuff later.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
MasGamers, bueno, esa fue la entrevista. Nos vemos en un rato y tenemos más noticias del E3. Chao.